game called 40 Thieves, also known as Napoleon at St Helena. And we're going to be using the Bicycle Ghosts of Tombstone deck. So, 40 Thieves is a very old solitaire game. It appears in some of the oldest books written about solitaire. The legend goes that supposedly Napoleon played this game when he was in exile. However, David Bartlett says on his website that this is most likely just a myth. There is no historical evidence that says that Napoleon ever played solitaire, let alone that he played this specific version. However, it's still a popular story, and you still see it said in many places. Even the Wikipedia article for this game says that Napoleon probably played it, even though there's no evidence for it. Forty Thieves is an extremely difficult game. It has very low odds of winning, probably between 5 and 10%, but it also requires you to play skillfully in order to win. So it requires a combination of good luck and skillful play, which makes it very satisfying to win. I've won it a few times, and it does feel great to win. But the wins are very rare. So let's do one more shuffle, and then we'll deal out the game, and I'll explain the rules. So, 40 Thieves is dealt on a tableau of 10 piles of 4 cards each. So 4 rows of 10 cards, making for a total of 40 cards on the tableau, which is how the game gets its name. All of the cards on the tableau are dealt face up, and the rest are kept face down in the stockpile. I believe, even though the tableau is dealt face up, that this game is still categorized as a closed packer, because most of the information is hidden in the stock. If you've watched this channel before, you might know that closed games are not my specialty. I do much better in games where the information is all known at the start. So this might not be my best performance. You will probably see many mistakes tonight. So please be patient with me. But do feel free to post criticisms if you see me making bad moves, because I would love to learn and get better. So the goal of 40 Thieves is to move all the cards to the foundation piles, which I'll be putting up here above the tableau. There will be 8 foundation piles, which are built up from ace to king in suit. Since this is a 2-deck game, that means there will be 2 foundation piles for each suit. The foundation piles start with an ace, and then you build a 2 and a 3 of the same suit, and you go all the way up to king. On the tableau, we can stack cards in descending sequence by suit. So, for For example, a 7 of diamonds can only be placed on an 8 of diamonds. Again, since this is a 2-deck game, there are 2 copies of each card in the deck. So, each card has 2 potential cards that it can be placed upon. Only 1 card can be moved at a time. And if you empty out a pile by moving out all the cards, you may place any card in the empty space. Once you've made all the moves on the tableau that you want to make, you may begin drawing from the stockpile. Cards are drawn from the stock one at a time and placed into a waste pile. The top card of the waste pile is available for play either to the tableau or to the foundation. There is no redeal, so once you've gone through the entire stock, you cannot flip the waste pile and start again. You must work through the waste pile, and if you run out of moves, the game is over and you've lost. There are 2 more rules which are sort of up to your interpretation. You can decide whether or not you want to follow them. The first is that many rule sets will allow you to peek at the top card of the stockpile before moving it to the waste pile. So we will be taking advantage of that sometimes. The other rule is that I will be allowing myself to look through the waste pile to remind myself of what cards I've already drawn. Some people will not allow this, and they'll say that you must remember all the cards that you've drawn, and that only the top card of the waste pile should be visible to the player. But I don't really go by that rule. I don't think the player should be required to memorize dozens of cards. I think they should be allowed to remind themselves, so I will be doing that. Besides that, those are all the rules, so let's get started on this first game. Let's take a look at the tableau and see what we can do. Our first goal is almost always going to be to create an empty space on the tableau, because that will enable more movement for our cards. However, right now, we don't have a whole lot of options. The only card that we can move is this Jack of Clubs over to the Queen of Clubs, and that doesn't really do anything for us. It just reveals this 6 of Clubs, which we can't use. I think what we're going to be hoping for is to get a Queen of Hearts and Diamonds, and then get a Jack of Hearts and Diamonds, so we can move these 10s. An Ace of Diamonds would also let us remove this card, but that doesn't really go anywhere because we can't do anything with this 6. We could maybe get a 6 of Diamonds here and move this 5 over, but we can't do anything with the 3 because we can't get to either of the Aces of Spades. Both of our Aces of Spades are on the tableau, which means it will not come in the deck. We have to free them if we want to get them, and unfortunately one of them is trapped under a king, and we don't really have anywhere for the card that's blocking the other one. We would need a Queen of Diamonds and a Jack of Diamonds, and one of our Jacks is on the tableau already, which means there's only one remaining in the deck, and we have no idea when it's going to come, so it could come super late in the game, we don't know. Overall, this is looking like a pretty tough tableau. Let's just begin and see where it goes. We've got a Jack of Clubs. We're not going to take that because if we're going to move a Jack to that Queen, we're going to want to do this one. We've got a 9 of Hearts, and I think we're not going to take that because, like I said, one of our few options that we're looking for is to get a Queen and a Jack of Hearts, and we already got one of the Jacks, so that's going to be tough. But if we move the 9 onto the 10, then we can't move the 10 because we can only move one card at a time. Now we got an Ace of Clubs. Unfortunately, that's one of the least helpful aces we can get right now. We've got a 9 of Spades. That doesn't help. A King of Spades also does not help. Unfortunately, no useful cards yet. Now we can move this to the 5, but even if we got a 3, which we can't because both of our 3s are on the tableau, even if we move this card to the 4, then we can't get past the 6, not without a lot of cards on this 10. Now we've got a Queen of Diamonds, and we're going to take that because, like I said, if we get the Jack now, which we will get it eventually, it's in here somewhere, then we can move this 10, and then we get the Ace, and that will actually get us an empty pile because we can move the 6 to here, and the 9 can go on the 10. So what we're really hoping for right now, what we're desperately hoping for, is that that Jack of Diamonds is not too far away. But we'll have to see. There's the other queen. We don't need it though. The Queen of Hearts, so again, potentially helpful. We just need the Jack, and we know there's another Jack in here. We just don't know where it is. There's the other 4, and I'm honestly thinking about maybe taking this one, just so that we don't have both 4s lost in the stockpile. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do it. There's the Ace of Diamonds, so we can potentially take that. We're not gonna do it just because it doesn't help right now, but if we take it, we can't get past this 6, but we'll keep that option in mind. There's the other Ace of Diamonds, which means we can now take this safely, because if the other 2 shows up, we can just move it straight to the foundation. There's the Jack of Diamonds. Okay, so now we can open up our first empty pile. That's good. This was looking like a tough one, but we managed to get one. And it didn't take too long. We're not even halfway through the stock yet. Okay. Now, right now, there isn't a whole lot we can do with that. So, I don't think we're going to make any moves with it quite yet. But we will be happy we had that. I'm sure we will. Once we get one of our 2 of Hearts, we can move this to the empty space, then take the Ace and the 3 to the foundation. Well, actually, we also still need to get an Ace of Hearts, and there is one right there. So we'll see. It might not be as straightforward as I said originally. Oh wait, I just realized that we can actually move the 5 and 4 here onto the 7 and 6, but that would bury this 2 even more. I think we really want to wait for an 8 of Diamonds before we do that. Now there is one right here, but if we move the Queen to the empty space, then we can't move the 7 and 6 or the 5 and 4, so we can't get it quite yet. Let's continue. Actually, we might want to keep this. We would lose our empty space though, that's the problem. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to let it go. Same with this 4 of Spades. Now, I don't actually, we can move this onto the 9 because we have an empty space. So once we get the Jack, we can still move the 9 and the 10 together. But if we get an 8, we don't want to put it on there, not till we get the Jack. Now we got a 3 of Hearts, and that's kind of annoying because we don't have the 2 yet, or an Ace. I think we're gonna have to let this go as well. Oh, there's the 2. Okay, so we're gonna take advantage of what I said before. We're gonna leave the 2 on the stock before we move it to the waste pile. And this seems kind of risky to lose our empty pile like this, but we're just gonna have, actually let's move it to the waste pile. We're just gonna have to hope that an 8 of Diamonds comes pretty soon. Actually, let's just check first to see if we drew it. One of them is on the tableau. If the other one is still in the deck, I think it's worth it to move this 7 into the empty space and hope we get that 8 soon, because I really don't want to miss out on this 2 and 3 of Hearts. So we're gonna move this here, and we're gonna take the 2 and the 3. I don't want those getting buried too deep in the deck, so we're just gonna have to hope we get the 8 soon. There's a 10. The question, I think I want to take this. The question is, do we put it on the jack right there, or do we put it to the jack on the queen first? I think we're just gonna put it right here, and if we want to move the jack over, we can do it when we get an empty space, which hopefully won't take too long. There's the jack of hearts. Now we can't move the 10 and the 9 over now because we took the empty space. So hopefully I'm not going to regret that. Actually, oh, I shouldn't have put the 3 on because I have a 3 right here. I could have moved the 7 over. In fact, I think I'm still going to move the 6 over and take the ace, but now we can't move it to the foundation, so I think it was a mistake to take the 3 from the waste pile. I should have taken this 3 instead. That's rough. It's really difficult to remember stuff like that in this game. There's so much going on. So, that's unfortunate. I'm really hoping we're not going to regret that. We're not going to take this 10. We've got a 4 of spades, but I think this is the second 4 of spades, so we're going to lose this. That means we're not going to be able to build up our spade foundation. Okay, we got the other 2. I think we're definitely going to play this here, and then once the ace shows up in the deck, because there's still an ace in here, then we can get our empty pile back. Okay, we'll play this straight to the foundation. I think that's our second 4 of clubs. And another 3 of spades that we're just gonna have to let go, unfortunately. I think we'll take this because once we get the 5 of hearts, we can just stack all these up. Maybe even take these as well. There it is. Okay, I think we're gonna do this. And now we get our empty space back. We do this. We put the 9, 10, 8, 9, and 10 of hearts. This can go to the foundation. The 7, the 6 can go on the 7. And now we get our space back finally. We can get a second empty space by doing this. Unfortunately, it means we're gonna have to bury those cards over there on the left side, but I want this empty space. Apologies if you can hear my cats. They're running around and being very hyper. Now, we're gonna move this to the foundation, and then we're gonna use our 2 empty spaces to move this queen onto the king. And the 10 as well. And now that we have the 8, we can move it here. And we can get these cards off the 2 by doing this. Unfortunately, I'm kind of running out of room now. And now we get the 2. And now we can actually play this. We can take this as well, and this. We've got another empty space. Okay, I was thinking this game is looking pretty bad, but we're starting to get a lot of empty spaces now. So, maybe this is going okay. Let's do this. We're gonna move the king, queen, and jack to an empty space. This 6 and 7 can go on this 8. And then this ace goes to the foundation. And this 2 goes here. Now we have 5, 6, 7, so we still have 3 empty spaces to work with. I still think this game has a very low chance of winning, but it's looking a little better than it was before. I think we're going to continue drawing. Now I think what we're going to do is we're going to move these cards gonna put this 10 here. Unfortunately, I think we can't move these back onto the king. If we need to, we'll move this 5, 6, 7, and 8 to the foundation. That'll give us the empty space we need to move that queen back onto the king. There's the ace. Now, I think we're not going to draw the rest of the cards from the stock yet. I think we're going to make some moves first. So I'm going to do this. We're going to move these cards to the foundation to empty this space out. Now we'll do this. Get this space back as well. Now let's move this queen. This 6 and this 6 and the jack goes here. And now the 10. But we're not going to be able to get past these cards, so we're going to have to start drawing again. We can put this, actually, we might want to take all 3 of these to the foundation right here. The 6 is not helpful. I think we're missing all our low clubs, and I think that's going to ruin it for us. I think both of our 3s of clubs and there's one of our 4 of clubs, 5 of clubs. We have 1 at least. There's our other 4 of clubs. And I think the other 3s of clubs are both way back. Yeah, I think that's going to be the killer. We just have nothing to do with all these clubs. We just don't have enough room to deal with all these cards. I think this game is over, unfortunately. Yeah, so we can move these to the foundation. And we can move these to the foundation. But we can't do anything with our spades or our clubs. So I think we move this, and this, and this, and then our game is unfortunately over. But that wasn't too bad. We did get some of our foundations up pretty high. A bunch of our low cards just got trapped back here. Maybe we should have started trying to work through the waste pile sooner. I'm not certain. I made some mistakes in that game, which might have been the reason why it didn't work out. Or we might have just gotten unlucky, because that happens a lot in this game as well. But it's hard to say. So that's game 1. We're going to be doing 3 games today, and based on my win rate in this game, the chances that we win one are very, very low. But if we don't win one, which is likely, I think this is going to become a series. I really want to win one on camera. So after this video, I'm going to play a different game, and then after that video, we'll come back to 40 Thieves. And we'll keep playing 40 Thieves every other video until we finally get a win. And I'm fine with that. Of course, I would love to win. I would be very happy if we won in this video, but I would definitely not be sad if we did not win. It'll be the start of our journey. And if we get lucky and we win this game, we'll just have to find a harder game to make our journey. This will be our last shovel, and we'll deal out the second game. So the current video plans. After this, I'm going to be doing a no talking video of Baker's game. That'll be the next video. After that, we'll be playing this again, assuming we don't win in this video. And then after that, I received a request to play Cruel Solitaire, which if you've never played it, is a pretty interesting game. I've been doing more research on it to get ready for playing it on camera, and it is quite interesting, I think. You can play it kind of mindlessly, and I think we'll probably do that at least once in the video. But there is also some advanced strategy you can use in that game that makes it a lot more interesting, and I think we will be doing that as well. Our second game of 40 Thieves. And it's looking like we might have a way to get an empty pile really fast. It's all gonna depend on how quickly our ace of diamonds comes, because we can move this 2 to here, we can move this 3 to here, and then once we get the ace of diamonds, we can move this 2 to the foundation, and this 10 can go here, and then we can just take the other ace of diamonds. So, we've got one ace of diamonds on the tableau, and the other ace of diamonds still in the stockpile. Whenever that comes, we can get an empty pile. Our alternative option would be to get a 4 and 3 of diamonds here. One of our 3s is already on the tableau, so it might be difficult to get the other one. Besides that, we don't have any other options for movement on the tableau. So, what we're looking for is an ace of diamonds or a 4 of diamonds. An ace of clubs could also be useful, because then we can take some of these. That might be nice. But those diamonds are what we really want. So far, no cards that we really want. We're not going to play that 6 to the 7. I don't think we gain anything from it. Well, maybe we want to, because if we get the ace of clubs, we can actually stack up pretty far. Note that I don't think I've mentioned this yet, but it's generally a bad idea to stack up the foundations unevenly, so it might actually not be a good idea to take the 2, the 3, and the 4, the 5, and the 6, because our other club foundation would have less places where we can put those cards, which can be a problem. I think I am going to take it though, because just looking at the cards underneath it, I don't think that we would be able to move this 7 and do anything useful with the cards underneath. But I might regret that later. We'll see. Still looking for that ace of diamonds and 4 of diamonds. Now we got this 8. We could have put it here and moved the 7 over, but like I said, I don't think we really get anything from that 10 or 6, and underneath those is a king, so we can't move that to get an empty space. Now, do we play this, is the question. Is it worth it? I think I am going to take it, because if I get the other 9, we've already drawn a 9 of diamonds, but if we get the other one, we can put it here, and maybe we can get this 8 onto the 9 at some point. We might be glad we took the 10. Okay, there's our 4 of diamonds. Now we're just looking for the other 3 of diamonds, or the ace of diamonds. Either one of them would get us our empty pile that we're looking for. And 3 or the 4 yet, because we need both of these available so we can move the 2 and the 3 of clubs. So we're not, it might be tempting to put the 5 here and then move the 4 and the 3 over like that, but we don't get anything from these cards underneath, and that would prevent us from moving this 2 and 3 to get to the 10 and the ace. So that would be a bad move to do. We're going to leave those as they are. There's an ace of hearts, not the ace we're looking for, but never bad to have aces. Now, do we want to put this 10 down? I think I am going to. I think I will. And we'll put this 9 here. I wish we got the 2 of hearts before we got that. Two of spades without our ace as well. Low cards once again. Oh, and there's the other one. Our second game in a row where we lose both the 2 of spades without having an ace. That's not good. We're not going to play that. Unless this is like an ace of spades, which it's not. Unfortunately, the 3 of diamonds and the ace of diamonds are taking a very long time to show up, which means by the time we get that empty space, it might already be too late. There's the other ace of hearts. And the 3 of hearts again before we have the 2. So that's going to be both of our 3s of hearts lost. What is this? It's a 5. There's an ace of clubs, which again, we can take this. Or, yeah, we can because we have a 3 for the other one. We can take this and potentially we can take these, the 3 and 4. Well, we don't want to take the 4 because then we'll have nowhere for that 3 unless we decide to take through that 3. I don't know. Now we could take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then this 8 could go here, but we can't get past that 8. We don't have a 9 of spades. We're still looking for the ace of diamonds or the 3 of diamonds. And they're just taking so long. There it is. There's the ace of diamonds. So we can finally make these moves here and get our empty pile. Alright, but can we actually do anything with it is the question. And I don't think we actually can at the moment. Yeah, we got our empty pile, but it doesn't help us at all. Not really. Have we drawn both of our 8s of clubs? Well, if we get a 5 of spades or something like that, I might move this 9 to the 10, take the 3 and the 4 to the foundation, move the 8 to here, and then move the 7 from here to here, and then we can move the 5 onto the 6 of spades, but honestly that doesn't really help us a whole lot. This game is starting to look pretty finished, in my opinion. I don't think there's many cards we could get that would help dig us out of this situation. It's looking pretty bleak. And we got that way too late. Our 2s are long gone by now. I think we're gonna put it here. We got a 3. Now we can take that 4 and 5 if we want, but I don't think we get anything out of that. Well, we could move. We could move the queen to the empty space and take the 3, but we don't have anywhere for that. That jack of clubs. And unfortunately, our hearts are not anywhere near a situation where we can deal with that. Okay, so we can start moving cards to our club foundation safely. maybe take the 6 and 7. I don't know. If we get... Have we drawn our 9s of spades yet? There's one. There's the other. Okay. So we're not going to be able to bridge this gap between the 10 and the 8. And I think it's just about over. I think I'm going to start making some moves to the foundation. In particular, I think I'm going to do this. Now, like I said, I'm pretty sure it's too late. There's our other ace of spades and a 10 of diamonds. And I think with that, our second game is over. Yeah, I don't see where we could go from here. The only thing we could do is move. Oh no, that's not a 6 of hearts, or that's not a 6 of diamonds, it's a 6 of hearts, so we can't even get a 6 of diamonds to the foundation. It's just over. Alright, our second game of 40 Thieves concludes. Not quite as good as the first game. I think it took us way too long to get an empty space, and we once again just lost too many of our low cards before we got our aces, which meant that we could not start moving cards to the foundation. Once again, losing the 2s of spades. Alright, this will be our final game. I recently learned how to do the bridge after the riffle. I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm not very good at it, so I might totally screw it up. I also don't really know how it sounds. So I might have to severely lower the volume if it's too loud. We'll have to see. If you like the sound of the bridge, let me know and I'll try to do it more often. I think that's enough though. Alright, this will be the last shuffle. Okay. Our last game of 40 Thieves for the night. And already we've got 2 2s on the bottom row. Not a good sign to start with. At least it's not our aces. There's one of our aces. low this time. At least that means they're not going to be buried in the stock. Ace of spades, please. No. Alright. Well, not a whole lot we can do here. We can move the 8 of diamonds to the 9 of diamonds, or we can move the Jack of hearts to the Queen of hearts. Both of those reveal 2s of spades. But we can't do anything because we don't have an ace of spades to take either of those. Now, we might potentially get an ace of hearts, and then we can take the 2, take the ace of clubs. The 7 can be moved over here. But then we don't have anywhere to put the 6 of clubs. Unless we get a 9, 8, and 7 for that 10 of clubs. Which seems unlikely, especially since one of our 8s is already on the tableau. Now if we get a 10 of diamonds, we can move the 9 to here. That would reveal the 8. So then if we get the 9 of clubs, the 8 can go over here. That would reveal a 4 of clubs, which again, we can't do anything with. But maybe if we get an ace and a 3 of clubs, we can take that. The 8 could then be moved to the 9, and we would get an empty space. So we do have some potential options, but they're all we're going to need to get pretty lucky in order to take any of those. And let's start drawing. We could potentially take this, then we can take the 9. Reveals, okay. Reveals the 3, we can move the 2 to the 3, take the ace, the 7 can go to the 8. But then we're stuck with that 6 of clubs, but I think we're going to do it anyways. Now the question is, do we move the Jack to the Queen before we take the 10? And I think the answer is yes, so we can take that too when it shows up. We are burying this ace of hearts a little bit, but we don't have a king to move that queen on anyways. So, I think we're just gonna do it. Now we will take the 9. So if we get the 10 of diamonds, the 9 can move here, the 8 can move to the 9. And then if we get a 7, we can move the 6, so we can move the 9 to the 10, the 2 to the 3, take the ace to the foundation, the 7 would go to the 8, and then the 6 would go to the 7, but we have to get the 7 first before we do that. And we also need to get the 10 of diamonds. So, still 2 cards away. There's an ace of hearts. Now, we can take this if we want. We don't need to because we can move the 9 to the 10 and move it onto there, but we could take both the 2 and the 3 if we wanted, maybe. But there's no 4 that we would really want to do that for. We're gonna wait before we do those moves. Well, now do we want to take the 6? Is there a 5 that we're gonna want to get past a 5 of diamonds? There's one here, but it's buried under the Queen, Jack, and 10, so we're not gonna see that 5 for a while, probably. Now I think I'm not going to take it. Well, yeah, we might want to use this 6 to get, for that 7, move that on top of the 7. Do we take this? I think I will move it here. Especially since we've got both kings, so if we need a spot for this, we do have the other king. Now a 2 of clubs, I think now we're gonna make this move. So that we can take the 2 of clubs. Okay. Now we're not gonna make this 7 to 8 move until we have the 7 of clubs and the 10 of diamonds. There's the ace of diamonds, which, I mean, it's fine to have, but doesn't help us in the moment. We definitely don't want to take that 7. I will take this 10, though. So now we get the 8. We still need the 7 of clubs, but we got our 10 of diamonds. And we got a 3 of spades. And unfortunately, well, actually we can move this now and move this here. And now this 3 can go on the 4, and we could potentially move that 2 over as well. But I don't think that helps us in the moment, so we're not going to do that quite yet. There's an ace of spades. We got it right now. Now we can actually get an empty pile thanks to that. That's nice, because we can do this. Okay, so we've got our empty pile. What do we want to do with it? I think nothing right now. We're gonna wait. But it's good to have it. Now, it's tempting to take this, but I don't want to lose our empty pile just over the possibility that we might get a 5, especially since one of our 5s of spades is already on the field. We get a 3 of clubs and 8 of spades. Now do I want to? I'm tempted to take this. Well, if we had a jack of clubs, I would move that over, and then we would take the 2 and 3 of hearts and put the queen here and then move the jack over, but we don't have anywhere for the 10, 9, and 8, and we don't have enough empty spaces to do that right now anyways. Now, I actually think I am going to move this over and move this too. But I'm not going to move this to the empty space because we don't want to take the 3, not yet. Okay, we get a 2 of diamonds that we can put on the foundation. There's our 7. Let's get our second empty space. Now what do we want to do? This is too many cards. So even if we got the queen, or sorry, the jack of clubs, we still couldn't move that whole pile over. We're gonna need to either move it to the foundation or get more empty spaces. Now if we had a 6 of diamonds, we have one already, but if we had the other one, we could move these here, this jack 10, 9, 8 onto here, or sorry, the 10, 9, 8 onto here. Oh wait, but no, I guess we could move the queen and then the jack. The 5 would go here, we take the ace, and then the 5 could go to the foundation. So we could do that, but it wouldn't get us an empty pile. And we don't have the 6 anyways. I don't know if we drew it even. Okay, I'm gonna do it though. I'm gonna do it because I want to take that 6. So we do this. Now this goes here. And we're gonna lose one of our empty piles for this, but I want to take the 6. And then we take the 5 and the 6. And now we can do this. The king goes here. We take the 7 and the 8. And now we get our empty pile back. Okay. I'm gonna move this queen to here. So it's easier to move that. But we don't have a king of diamonds for that queen. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna move the 2 and the 3, then move the king and take the 2. I actually could have done that way sooner, but I didn't think of it. And now we can move this queen and then take the 3. Let's move this queen now. Now we still can't take this pile here. There's too many cards, and we would need another empty space to move this, to get that jack onto. Now we do have another jack there, but we'd have to use an empty space to hold this. We can get this 4 if we want it, but we don't want it right now. It doesn't help us. Okay, I want to do this now. Never mind, I'm gonna undo that. I don't mind mind on doing if I only moved like one card. But I'm gonna wait till we get the other ace of clubs and then I'm gonna do that. We'll put this on the foundation. That one we can't keep. That goes on the foundation. And that goes here. I wish we could get to that jack. Otherwise that would be helpful. Have we drawn our other 9 of spades? We did. Okay, I'm definitely not taking that 10 yet, then. Okay, we'll put that here. Our other ace of diamonds. Okay, now it's tempting to take all these. We could get an empty space here, but our diamond foundations would be very uneven. But that would enable us to do this. I think I'm gonna do it. So we're just gonna take all of these to the foundation. We might regret this. Then take the queen. Now we can move this whole pile over. This goes here. Now this jack goes here, and then this 10, and this 9. I would like that ace of clubs, but it's not coming. There's our other 2 of diamonds. We'll put this here. Oh man, where is it? I'm gonna do this now. And now we'll put this king. Now we lost one of our empty spaces for that. Hope I don't regret that. There it is finally. Okay, let's do this. Now I could move this king, take the 3, but I don't have enough spaces to get the 9-10 jack onto the queen. We would need another. We could get one by moving all these to the foundation, but I don't think I want to do that. That would make the spade foundations very uneven. Maybe I do want to do that. Maybe we want to start trying to get back through the waste pile. I think I'm gonna do it before it's too late. I think part of winning this game is knowing when to start trying to work through the waste pile. Because if you wait until you go through the entire stock, then it can make things way harder. Because you have more cards that you have to go through, more junk that you have to sift through in order to win. And I don't want to make that mistake. Unfortunately, I don't think we can go any further than this. Because we would have to play the jack. This would have to go in an empty space. The jack of diamonds could go here, but then we don't have anywhere for this 10. the 6 would be able to go there, but... And then nowhere for the 5. We have to continue drawing through the stock now. Oh, I wish we could get to the... Well, at least we can do this for the time being. Okay, let's do this. Now, we'll start making some more moves through the stock. Or through the waste pile, sorry. Did we draw the other Jack of Clubs? And if so, we did. But it's really far back. Okay, I think we have to start drawing again. This can go to the foundation. Okay. I really wish we had a place for this 5. Or the 7. Do we have an 8 coming? No, the 8 of diamonds is in the deck. So, unfortunately, I think we just have to keep drawing, but I think... Oh, that's big. That's a huge pull. Okay. Oh my god. I don't want to get too excited, but... Oh my... I think we won. I think we actually won. Oh my god. Oh my god. No way. Oh, we definitely won. Oh my god, I can't believe we won. That's so crazy. I was not expecting to win on the first video. Oh my god. That's amazing. That's so amazing. Wow. I can't believe it. I'm so glad I decided to start working through the stock immediately instead of waiting. Oh, I think we might have lost if we'd waited too long. Oh, I'm so happy. Now, I guess we're not going to be going on that journey after all. I guess we just won. We're going to have to find a harder game. If you have suggestions for any harder games, maybe a variant of this, let me know. Or just any game that you'd like to see me play. Oh, I'm so glad we won. Oh, that's so awesome. Okay. Oh, this is why I love this game. It's so exciting when you win. So let's start with one deck. Oh, that's both the diamonds. I took 2 of the diamonds. Whatever. So there's one deck, and here's the other. I'm doing this in such a weird way. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited that I got kind of confused. And then the hearts. All right. So that's gonna be it for the night. That's 40 Thieves. Oh my god, I can't believe we won. I hope it was relaxing. Maybe it was a little exciting at the end. I don't know. If you find it as exciting as I do. Hopefully that won't keep you up. Alright, that's gonna be it for me. It was an exciting night. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you would like to see more of this game, let me know. Or if there's a different Solitaire game you'd like to see me play, just let me know. If you like Solitaire and ASMR, consider subscribing. I might be branching out and doing some other stuff, other card games that aren't Solitaire, other single-player tabletop games. I'm not sure, I'm looking into it. For now, we're focusing on Solitaire. So the next video will be No Talking Baker's Game. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you have a good night, sleep well, and thanks for watching.